Okay, welcome back everyone. Hopefully you had a chance to check out the video from last week. Last week we talked about how we generate ideas by looking at people, places, and things. This week we are going to talk about how we're going a little too fast. How's your week going? I hope it's going great. Mine's going awesome, sorry. My name is Gary, Mr. Gray. You can call me whatever you want to. And I'm an author and I want to help kids like you and adults write. But for today, we're gonna figure out how to do something called flash drafts. Have you ever heard of the Flash? Yes, exactly, him. What do we know about him? He's very fast. He's very, very fast. So today we're gonna talk about how we do flash drafts, okay? And what is a flash draft? So before we get into flash drafts and actually creating our flash drafts, I wanna talk to you a little bit about sentence starters. Actually, no, wait, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. Now, before we do flash drafts, we want to go back and take a look at what we have already created through our ideas generating. All right, so I'm going to go back to my things page. I'm going to find something I'd like to work with. You can use Sharpie. If you're working on an iPad, you can use an iPad pen. You can use a marker. You can use a pencil. Lots of options, okay? For me, I like to use markers and color pencils, but for today, I'm going to keep it with, actually I'll use orange today because I've already used red. Okay, so I could write about any of these things. I'm gonna identify which one I would like to write about first. So I already have hearts and circles around some of the things I'm interested in. And I think I'm gonna stick with that. All right, so I'm going to put a little star beside the basketball because that's the one I'm going to do today. We'll only do one today. Next week we'll do another flash draft, okay? So what I'll do now is I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about sentence starters, okay? And why I give sentence starters is because sometimes I think we just need a little gas before we get started, right? So when I say sentence starter, it's basically 2 or 3 words that give you an idea of what you could write about, okay? So you can write these down if you want to, or you can just follow along, okay? So I like to keep these in my notebook just so I can use them as a reference, just in case I get stuck or run out of gas, okay? So, sentence starters, and you've probably seen these before, all right? And there's no such thing as one specific sentence starter that brings all the magic, all right? They're all very valuable, and if you don't need them, you don't have to use them. So I could start my sentence or my paragraph with something like, I remember. I remember when I was rowing a boat with my uncle. I could say, when I was younger, I fell on my bicycle. I could say, let me tell you a story about when I was in school. I got really sick and I threw up on some of my classmates. It's actually a true story. I could start with, one morning I was eating cereal and I was laughing so hard, milk came out of my nose. I could start with, I couldn't believe that, can't think of anything. I couldn't believe that the sun was up so early. Or I could say, during my time in Kuwait, I tried thousands of different kinds of food. That's also a true story. I don't know if it was thousands, but it was definitely a lot. So again, these are just simple ways to get your story started when you are trying to do your flash drafts, okay? So next page, I'm going to show you exactly what a flash draft is, and I'm going to encourage you to do one with me, okay? So thinking about my topic, I'll go back and just remind you, I said I'm going to do something from the things menu, basketball, all right? So for 1 minute in 30 seconds. I'm gonna put that on the clock. And I'm gonna write for 1 minute, 30 seconds, quite fast, about basketball. Now remember, this isn't a nonfiction piece, so I'm not talking specifically about the topic basketball and the rules. I'm talking about a moment, something that happened to me, because remember, we're talking about narratives here, okay? So watch and feel free to do this as I'm doing it as well. Continue, just watch and continue to try and do it with me if you want to, okay? All right, ready? Get loose, get loose. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna start with I remember. I'm gonna name it first, Flash, number 1, and then I'll probably put basketball. You don't have to title it, but I like to title it just so I kind of remember, okay? Underline and underline. All right, well, 1:30 is on the clock. Ready and go. Crazy. Now, I remember this was exactly what happened. This was exactly what happened. And I was so scared that I would never be able to play basketball again. Good thing is, I did. But it was extremely hard for me to get over this injury. This is a flash draft. Hopefully you got your flash draft done. Feel free to do more flash drafts. Flash drafts are supposed to be rough, they're supposed to be quick, and they help us generate ideas for when we start to really build our stories. Until next time, stay blessed. Peace.